Before I go diving into a couple things, Terry, let's go ahead and knock your stuff out. I know I told you yesterday we'd do it real quick on this call. So why don't you tell everybody what you asked me yesterday that you need help with. I'll share the screen. We'll go through some of that stuff, or I'll maybe even have you share the screen, but fill everybody in so that they know what the heck we're about to talk about.
Just need to tie in my Pat Live phone number with the lead vault number so I can get the live interaction if I'm unable to answer the phone.
Okay, so two things on this. John, do you have the missed call text back automation active, published, and tied into Pat Live?
I'm not sure if I'm actually got it published and running.
All right,
So
I want
had
to look
some
into that.
issues.
I'm wondering if that will cause.
Because I was going to tell you on this call, I've been having where we added the thing on the website. It shows that like a blank note keeps hitting on. So I just need to show you that.
Back to that in a second. I want to check real fast on something, Terry, just to make sure you don't have. Okay, so you do have missed call text back published. Nobody's actually gone into it, which if Pat Live is doing its job, it's answering all of your calls. Okay, Terry, are you able to share your screen? There he goes. All right, so to add the forwarding phone number to it, inside of your settings there, you're going to scroll down and you're going to go to phone numbers. We'll let that load. And you're planning on using this one right here, the main marketing number, correct?
Yes.
Is that 760-302-7700? Is that the Pat Live number?
No, that's our business line.
Okay, so you need to hit the little pencil icon on that number to the far right. And where it says forward calls to, you're going to want to put your Pat Live number that it needs to forward over to for Pat Live to answer.
Okay.
And I would probably turn off, you can leave those on, that's fine for now. 60 seconds, you're fine on that. So go ahead and hit update. And that's it. So now.
And the business number doesn't get tied in anywhere then?
Correct. So that marketing number that's out there, if they were to call 760-472-5566, it's going to forward to the Pat Live answering aspect that you've got set up over there. And then whatever you've got them doing is what's going to happen.
Cool.
From there. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, what I would suggest is after you get done with this call today, I would call that number and make sure that it forwards through and that they answer. And if there's any glitch or anything like that, hit me up and let me know so we can fix something.
Okay.
Okay. Anything? Did you have anything else, or was it just that one?
I'll private message you. You hit everything except just re-forward the texting video. I can't find it.
The which one?
Your last Loom you did on setting up the text.
The chat bot?
Yeah.
Go back. Go back button. Go down to sites on the left-hand side. Down. All the way down. Right there. Sites, email marketing, automation, sites, reputation.
Oh, okay.
Hit chat widget. Top center. And you're going to want to go through here. And you want to write what you want the bubble to say when it comes up. You want to change that image if you want a different image on it. You scroll down a little bit farther, it's gonna ask you what you want to say to returning customers. And then if you keep going down a little bit farther, it's going to give you the next screen, the actual widget window, and you open that up. That's where you can change your colors if you want to change colors, change what it's actually saying at that point. And then once it's all said and done, you're going to email support. Once you do all of that and hit save, you're going to email support and tell support, hey, I need the lead vault chat activated on my Ignite Property Solution website. And then support will take it from there.
And use my mobile number, cell number in that mobile deal.
What's that?
And use my cell phone number in that mobile phone. Oh no, never mind. That's a question. Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's going to come in the automation. And I'll re-forward you that Loom video later on after this call so that you can watch on how
Perfect.
to actually set up the workflow,
Okay,
the automation sequence.
thank you. That's all I got.
Sweet. All right. Does anybody else have any pressing questions or anything? If not, we started to talk about some stuff yesterday that I was going to kind of walk some of you guys through.
Nothing pressing, but once you get through your presentation, I might have something at the end, just little things.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sean, one quick question. In the contact items, is there a way to add an additional number?
At the contact field?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a custom field, just like you added like a second address or.
Well, is there a way to do it without adding a custom field? We can't modify that base custom layout, right?
Correct.
Okay.
You can create a custom field that's called phone number 2, phone number 3, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I did that and I thought I could change that, but I can't. Okay. Other question: if you have, if someone calls in on one number and then they call you back on a separate number, and do you have to create 2 unique IDs for that person? There's no way to really combine them, right?
Yeah, right now there's no functionality to merge contacts together or assign 2 contacts against one opportunity. Kim and I went over that yesterday, actually, on our call. You guys have you have one seller with 2 totally different addresses. And this guy randomly shot you guys a message from a different phone number on it. And you got to have, it's going to create 2 records because it's 2 different phone numbers.
Yeah, I see that there is the ability to merge contacts, but it overwrites it. One has to take priority.
Correct. Yeah. When I mean merge is like pulling the 2 together so that all of it's, simultaneous and has both sets of information. You can merge contacts, but 100% it's going to overwrite it completely.
Yeah, my only workaround for that was to give the guy a middle initial, a fictitious one.
You can literally, we did it. I did it on the call with Kim yesterday. You can literally have the exact same contact in there the exact same way, just with 2 phone numbers.
It creates conflicts when we create a pipeline. Whatever you do in one pipeline, it automatically applies it to the other contact.
That's because when we dug into it, that's because that your 2 opportunities on the pipeline were assigned to the same contact. It wasn't this opportunity assigned to this contact and this opportunity assigned to that contact.
Okay. All right. And I have some other things to go over with you, but maybe I don't want to capitalize too much time.
I got one real quick too. You'll burn through this real quick if I can just screen share and just be done with it, so I can navigate around with you as you do your training. We went ahead and set up all the forms. We have this one, the investor form. It comes from it's here, and then we have a checkbox 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mhm.
I'm wanting to. The first thing that we set up with the automations was it comes in, it tags them as an investor. Is there a way if they check one of these or 2 of these, it can tag them with those check boxes too?
Oh,
I've been playing around with it. I just haven't been able to figure it out. So if you don't have to answer it now or do it right now, but if you guys do find that out, I would
It's
love to
not
know.
gonna, there's nothing, there's no way for it to add a tag based on that.
'Cause I think I can do some cool stuff with this, you know, because these would be completely different drip campaigns, you know, single family compared to apartment buildings.
Double check. Form submitted, form is, say that form, I'm playing on my other screen, so.
Okay, you want me to get out of mine and
Now do this, click on add new workflow trigger. Select and do form submission. You just in the search type form, it'll pull up. There it is, form submitted. Add filter. Form is. Select that investor form. Add filter. Scroll down to custom fields. What is that field called? Let's go back to your website real quick. What type of assets do you invest in? So go back to and look for that custom field. There it is. Drop down. Hit single family.
okay. And then
So
just
you
repeat
literally
that.
would, so yeah, so here's how you would do it. You would need a workflow for each one of those options.
Okay.
The trigger is, so in this case, this would be the trigger. Form submitted, forms the investor form, and it's looking at this field, and if they select single family, boom, it'll fire this workflow.
Perfect.
You'd have to replicate that exact same trigger, only this time for multifamily. Replicate it again for the other field.
Got it. Perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna save that and we'll play with it later.
Does that make sense?
Yep, perfect.
And
it's
then you
just-
could do kind of what you were
just putting
saying,
them up here
based on
too.
what they select, it's firing off the workflow that you built out for their selection of that field.
So do you think y'all would do, put all the flows in the same thing or just create a new one? Oh, this is just the form. Okay, never mind. I answered my own question.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't want all of them being the same trigger unless what you're sending out is the exact same for every single option. But if you're trying to send something different, if somebody selects single family versus multifamily, then you need the investor form single family, investor form multifamily, investor form whatever it is, right?
Right. I think that's how I'm gonna have to do it.
This way you can send out, you know, if I selected, I don't remember what all your choices were on that form. If I select apartment buildings and you want certain emails coming out to me because it's apartment building, or you want to add a tag for, because then your next step on that trigger, after the trigger's done, the first step in the workflow is like add tag apartment building
Right.
because they selected apartment building.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna create a workflow for each of these. So I can build that out completely.
Yeah, so you'd have 4 workflows and you could
Yeah.
just, in the naming
Copy 'em.
convention, you know,
Yeah.
put
you
it
just copy
investor form, single family, you know, investor form MF,
Yeah.
AB, PR, or PP.
Cool. Perfect.
Jordan, you can create I mean, it's up to you. You can do it the way Sean is suggesting, but what I've found is you can put all your triggers up there and then create logic if they
Yeah, you
select
could go that depth.
family. Yeah, and then you just branch it off right after workflow trigger. So you can put all your triggers.
Yeah.
And then put a logic right over here, just above that.
Oh, right
Like-
here.
Yeah, click
First
that
arrow,
plus,
yeah.
and then the right-hand side, scroll all the way to the bottom. And put, well, actually, yeah, if,
Yeah, if else. And then build your logic from there. If they select single family, go to the left, do this. If not, did they select multifamily, do this. And you can keep building it out.
so it would be no, go back over. It would be contact details. Select under operator. Or hold on, go back to that. You gotta finish picking this. Scroll down
Oh,
and
Yeah.
find it. Yep. And then select includes single family.
yeah. And then just keep going.
So that's what we're putting the condition. hit save action. Then under the yes, it would be add tag single family. No, after no, you're going to put another, that same if logic. But is it this other one?
All right. Cool. Okay.
So go ahead and put your
Yeah,
add your
we'll
tag
find it.
there.
I don't even know which one. What, single family investor. I don't even know. I'm not going to go through them all right now. I got you though. No. If no, then you do another if.
Correct.
Same thing.
Contact detail.
All the way down.
Includes multifamily. Hit save. And you can come back and edit these type of things anyway. Then under the yes column, add this tag under no, and you keep doing that all the way to the end. So it's basically saying, all right, here's the trigger. And did it have this? Did this contact field? Okay, add this tag. No, it didn't. How about this one? No, it didn't. How about this one? No, it didn't. How about this one?
Yep. On and on and on. Okay. Perfect.
So then your total trigger on the top of this could just be the form. This
Yeah.
form was submitted, that triggers the workflow, and it's the condition is just, hey,
And-
which ones of these did they select?
Instead of this multiple forms submitted kind of.
Correct.
Get rid of this. God, just zoom things all over my screen.
And you could still build this level right here. This could still be built because under yes, it's like add tag. Then you could have it fire a set of emails, and you could build
Yeah.
all of almost like you're building that workflow just off that yes side.
Yeah. Perfect. Cool. That's what I wanted to know. And you can do that, man, you can do that with all, not just the investor, but any
Anything.
form, any form really. Yeah. Anything you got a checkbox on. Sweet.
Anything that you have a field on.
Yeah. Let's see. Ooh. You can do that with the rentals too. Check boxes for which rental do you want to get a showing for or whatever. What are you interested in?
Yep.
Nice.
I mean, you'd have to constantly be updating that because you've got, you know, it's
Yeah.
it's not going to actively update, but yeah,
Right. Okay. Badass. Awesome.
cool. All right. So yesterday we were talking about this idea of campaign element and adding manual steps along the way. So we're going to go ahead and kind of build one of these out. Right now, I'm not going to build it perfect, but I'm going to build enough of the framework that you can understand what I'm talking about. But I want to build it for somebody's actual situation. So somebody that's got a campaign running right now or has kind of a campaign idea that can kind of walk through this.
So, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi. I don't know if this is a campaign, but one question that I was going to ask, and I know I'm still in the process of setting up Lead Vault, is, so I'm doing this webinar thing, right? And so what I've been seeing is that people are registering. They're registering. So people are registering.
Yeah, I shared it
but-
into 3 different real estate groups for you today.
Appreciate you so much. Thanks. So what I've been getting is, the way I set it up initially was that I would get an email anytime somebody would register, like I get an email notification. But what I'm noticing now is that I'm not tracking any of that information like in the database. So is there a way to link that so when people register, it doesn't
Yeah,
just
you
send
didn't
me
build
an
your
email?
registration in Lead Vault. That's why you have them registering directly to Zoom.
Yeah, I didn't know how else to do it.
Yeah, we could build it all inside of Lead Vault where they could register directly out of it. That's a pretty in-depth training that I would have to do.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Run your first couple and then we'll worry about that part.
Okay. Well, that was my question. So I was thinking maybe it could apply to what you were doing here, but no, I guess not.
It could. It 100% could tie into it. The webinar registration funnel is, I mean, it's like 3 different workflows. It's
Okay.
possible. I use
Okay.
it. But, so who wants to kind of be the guinea pig here and talk through a campaign that maybe you want to try to build, and let's see what we come up with on this. other than I'm gonna pick on John because I know you're trying to build something out, so. We want to be on the hot seat, John?
Sure.
Okay, so we're not gonna talk the trigger, what triggers this, because you guys kind of understand triggers now by this point, okay? But I want to actually say campaign is now triggered. And let's start from the start of this whole thing, John. First thing that's happening in your campaign is going to be what?
Normally they call in to Pat Live.
This is all outbound. Think outbound.
okay.
You went and got a list, and however you want to attack this list is what
Gotcha.
you build.
Okay, so let's say I skip traced a list. So I have emails and phone numbers.
Correct.
So it's code outbound.
You got addresses, you got emails, you got phone numbers. The world is your oyster of tactics.
Okay. So I'll probably want to do an code email and a code text.
So workflow get triggered. We'd send a email. Needed in subject line. We're going to send email 1.
Right.
How soon after the email do you want a text message going? You want it all at the same time? What are we thinking?
Probably about 5 minutes later.
Okay, so we're going to throw a wait step. 5 minutes. I like to do these type of things here. Right, wait 5 minutes so that I can see it, what's happening. And then we're going to send an outbound SMS.
Yeah. I was just thinking
Right.
too, could have cold called first.
That's the joy. You could come up here. You want
Yeah.
a cold call aspect.
Yep. Do that. Code outbound.
Okay, so cold outbound, depending on what happens.
Yep. Because when we put them into the manual task for somebody to go through, so then they have that board that they can choose.
Okay, so if we're coming out of the gate with cold call, I would have that as its own workflow
Right.
to set that manual task up.
Gotcha.
And then it would be part of my workflow as I'm going through it. I don't get an answer on the cold call. I'm right there at the contact record. I add them
Right.
to this workflow.
Right. So this would be a no answer code call. Then
Yeah, this could be we can call this the
it just
No
totally
answer.
changes everything I'm thinking about now.
no answer follow-up.
Yeah. So we might hit with a voicemail drop since we've tried to call. Just a random one that we normally we're going to create,
We're gonna throw a voicemail on there.
which we know you can just put a text or something.
I'm just gonna, it's a big file. That ain't gonna work. That was the episode, the podcast episode. Let's see if I have a small MP3 around. I don't have any small MP3s. Somewhere in here, I've got some like. Save action. So we're gonna have a voicemail. We're probably gonna want a little bit of a wait step in there, right?
Yeah. And then do the text. And the email. I mean, they can all be the same, but
We're gonna hit them with a voice drop. We're gonna wait a couple minutes, drop the email on them, maybe drop a text message on them a couple minutes. So it doesn't seem like bam, 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 right?
right.
Especially if they get all of this on their phone. Voicemail to their phone, text to their phone, they're getting their email on the phone. It's like ping, ping, ping. It's like, yeah, that was
Just-
automated.
We just hit them 4 times in 15 minutes. Or
Okay.
tried to at least.
So after that, probably gonna wait a couple days, right?
Yeah, maybe a day. Depends on how hot the lead is.
Yeah, we'll go a day.
the
That's fine.
list.
Let me put
Yeah.
it 1 day. Now, here's where we can have a lot of fun, right? I can throw a little condition here. Say event need to wait for reply. My bad. Wait, and instead of time delay,
Contact reply.
yep, right there. And it's going to reply to one of, let's say we want to wait for to see, did they reply to the SMS? It's going to wait a day, and then it's going to wait this, and we could put this timeout. Let's put this as the day, 1 day, save action. We're actually going to get rid of this one. So we're going to drop them in here, hit them with a voicemail, email, text. We're going to wait a day, and we're going to say, let's see the condition. Contact replied. Contact replied. Yes. Oops, that's not what I want. Replied. Contact replied. Yes. Because we're asking it, did they reply to that SMS? Answer is yes. Do this. Maybe that's where we're like, we're gonna send them another SMS.
Yep.
Or
Since they reply to SMS, usually at least hit them with one SMS back because that's their.
right.
And
Now,
then maybe
I mean,
we could
there's
ask.
there's some slight issues in here by doing it this way because we're waiting a whole day,
Right.
right? I would, if we were going to hit them with a text message off of their reply to this text message, I would only put the timeout on this for a few hours or a
Gotcha.
few minutes, right? Maybe I'm like, hey, wait up to 10 minutes to see if they reply. And if they do, then go ahead and send them, this text instead, kind of thing. If after 10 minutes they haven't replied, then go ahead and put a
Longer wait.
1 day on this.
Do you wait just a total wait, or do you put for wait for a reply again?
For this, it would be, so we're saying,
Because it
hey,
didn't know. Okay.
This wait for reply off this SMS, yes or no, right after 10 minutes. You could put another reply, because what if they replied here? Because we have an email in here too.
Right.
What if they replied to the email but not the SMS?
Mhm.
Under no, instead of this wait full day, I could put another condition here, a wait for reply. Actually, it wouldn't even need to be, can wait maybe another minute. Right. Needs to be a contact replied. It's not gonna work there. Dang it. My mind wants to put it here. So in this scenario, we couldn't actually
split. You're gonna have to split email and SMS off.
correct. You can't keep it linear and do it because the wait reply is looking at
Yeah.
this versus this.
Yeah, you got too many.
Yep. So that's fine. So we could, let's just keep going on this. We could say, hey, wait a day. And then do something else, right? Because if they replied here, this really can end at this point. If they replied to that text, because it's the campaign's done its job at that point. They've got them replying to you.
Yeah.
All right. So this column could end once they start to reply, but no, they haven't replied to anything at this point. So I want to keep doing something here. Let's say at this point, that's where I'm like, all right, I've called them, I've dropped a voicemail, I've sent them an email, and I've sent them an SMS, and we've waited about a day and nothing's happening. Maybe here's where I want to do a manual action. Maybe this is when I want to drop the postcard in the mail to them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wait this day, and then I'm going to tell the system to
Create a task.
create a task. Exactly. Add task, and we're going to say, hey, mail card, right? Just write that in there. And who's that getting assigned to? I don't have any users on this account. This is a test account.
Right.
It's due in 1 day, let's say.
Yep.
Save action. We'll just do contacts assigned user. And then I want to wait. And if a postcard's going out, I probably should wait a good 5 days or so for that to get delivered. You're mailing local, within a 5-day window, it's probably going to get there, right? Make this a wait. 5 days. So this is how I build in some manual tasks and keep the automation running, because it's like create the task, but then I move them here and I'm going to chill them for 5 days. And we're going to send that postcard out. This way, if they happen to call you back from the postcard, you're jumping into their contact record anyway when you're talking to them, or at some point you're going to have to jump in their contact record to update information. You can manually remove them from the workflow right from there.
Yep.
But after that postcard, maybe I want to keep this thing running now. And this is what I was talking about yesterday. When we think the campaign structure, we just start building each step along the way. And if it makes sense to put some conditional logic and branch it off, we could. Now, to John's point up here, we could have put this branch all the way up here. Email goes out, could have put condition logic. For that, we could have branched this off and sent a text message and had condition and had 2 totally different ones coming down if we wanted to. This way we could play, did they reply to that? Stop it, right? The other thing that you could do that completely turns all of this off is under your settings, stop on response. If the contact responds to a message that came from this workflow, it will stop. If I were to turn this on right here, stop on response. So if they reply to that email or they reply to this text, it stops them. They won't continue any further. So we don't even need to put the condition in there in that case. But we're putting the condition in here to say, hey, if they reply to that, go ahead and send this. Maybe this message after they reply to this message is like, what would be a good time for us to get on a call and talk?
Yeah.
Is there a certain time that you'd like me to call you? Here's a link to a calendar if you'd like to just book a time, something like that. Or perfect, would 5 minutes from now work for you? Whatever you want that automated piece to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and we might be also asking, hey, I'm looking for the owner of this property, and then they can reply back, yes, I'm the owner, I'm not, but we want to make sure, one way or the other.
Correct.
Yeah.
So in that case, this works, right? This text is saying something like, hey, I'm looking for the owner of 123 Main Street. Is this them? And they reply, sure, yeah, it is. Right? Maybe we send this SMS here. Maybe this isn't even an SMS here. Let's get rid of this, right? What if it's, yeah, they replied and we tell the system, create a task. Right? Hot lead. This one's kind of like do immediately, create the task and maybe say
Internal message.
Send an internal notification.
Yep.
And send it to my cell phone, right?
So
Assigned user, And it's like, hey,
Favorite.
hot lead. And you could pull in some custom values and from the contact, contact first name at, because you skip trace this, you probably got names and addresses, right? Contact at blah, blah, blah.
Just responded to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just responded, blah, 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 whatever the heck you wanted to say, right? We hit save action. Now we're saying, yeah. Condition is, did they reply to this text? Yes. Great. Create a task so that I have a task in my system that I need to follow up with this person, but also ping me on my cell phone immediately. Because if you have VAs doing the initial cold call and then dumping them into this, if they don't get an answer, you're not involved in that front end. All of a sudden, you only get involved when you get that notification like, oh crap, somebody that they've been reaching out to finally responded to something of ours, and I need to be the one now jumping in and handling this, moving forward. Does that make sense, John?
Yep.
Does that make sense to everybody else? So that whole talk yesterday where I was saying, like, break down your campaigns and really look at it. First thing I would do is sit down and draw it out yourself. Don't worry about building it in here just yet. Or you could play like this, like I do, and try to build it out and think through the logic and see how it comes out. And where you need manual things, you could create the task to do it. The other one could be, hey, they replied. Yes, they replied. Great. Maybe it's not create a task here. What if we got rid of the create a task? What if it was manual call right here, and we tell it to assign this. I really need to create a profile in here. And I tell it to assign it to John, right? If I was in John's account building this, and it's like, hey, at this point, assign this contact to John and create a task to manual call and ping me on my cell phone that I've got this, so that I know I got to jump in there and manually call this person. Because this person's, we've actually connected with them and they've actually texted me. And then that manual call goes to that same manual call section, right? Over here. Oops. Save. So over here to manual calls. And we'd be able to hit, let's get started. But if I wanted to only do the ones, I don't have the user, I'd change it to John and it would show Steve Test. Because that's who came through that workflow, and boom, got assigned to John. John's now like, cool, that's the one I got to call. Let's get started and call. That's another way of doing it. Good with this? Questions? I feel like some of you guys are tracking, others of you are like, he's speaking gibberish.
I think the best thing to do with this is just to write down your processes on a sheet of paper, and then just get in there and start playing with it, or start asking questions with it. I haven't played with the workflows enough to even have questions to kind of play off of, but I think that's what we need to do. Write our process out, and then it's pretty easy to figure out.
Totally. What the hell did I name that one? Where'd it go? That's on the next page. No answer follow-up. Totally. And then Jordan, to that point, once you've jotted it out on paper, you've thought it through, you've built it what you think is right, you just come in here and hit test workflow.
Yeah.
And create your own contact record in your system with your phone number, your email, right, your name and all that stuff, and select, I'm going to select this guy. Okay. And I'm going to, drop them. I'm going to hit run test. And before I go live with this whole thing, I'm going to run me through this whole process.
Yep. Make sure there's no glitches.
Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't work right, then it's, hit the bat phone and show them what the hell did I screw up? Can you go take a look at it?
Another thing I haven't really messed with is the phone numbers and whatnot. Me and Jacob have already kind of talked about, I don't really care to track 10 different phone numbers. Like his phone
Yeah.
number 304-881-8487. That's all I really care about. Are they calling him? That's all I give a damn about, So with this, what's the best way to just use that one phone number, and you can, I'm not using another service or anything like that. We've never did cold call text. We've never done any of that stuff. We just, how we do it. They just come to us, but
So which number do you want tracked?
just Jacob's phone number, the one that's plastered all over social media, Facebook.
His cell phone?
His personal cell phone number. Yeah.
You would still have to come in here and set up a number, because we can't track a number that doesn't belong to your account.
Okay.
So you'd still have to come in here.
We may have already
Your
done
account.
this.
That's why I'm switching so we can look at it. And you've got one number in here right now. This Twilio number, 304-301-1511 or 1515. It's forwarding to this phone number here, which is your phone number, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my phone number. So that 304-301, that's what we need to put all over our website and everything.
Correct. That's the number that has to be called to be able to be tracked. Now you can have it forwarded wherever you want to forward it to. So if you want to forward it to Jacob's phone,
Yep.
just change this out. You can come in here and edit this. You don't need to get a second.
Yeah, go
person.
ahead. No, I want you to change that right now because I don't want nobody calling me.
I'm
That's-
going to
that's
change
just-
this to,
That's his lane.
and forward calls to what?
881-8487. So that's the number we're gonna have to plaster all over everything. Okay.
You need it longer than 5 seconds there.
Yeah, like I said, we haven't played with this at all.
There. So now it'll forward to his cell phone.
Okay.
Okay, but this is the number that has to be out there for that to happen. So like
So
on your website, I would encourage you to have the team
change the number.
do something
Everywhere.
like this, add that there, or add it somewhere in the top section of the site.
Oh, it's there, but it's his actual phone number, not the,
Yeah, have it swapped out so
Okay.
that it's the trackable number, right?
right?
On your social platforms, go change it to this number.
Okay.
And from here forward, this is the number that you want to give out in your marketing. It's still going to come to his cell phone,
Yeah,
still
yeah,
going to
yeah.
Jacob's phone. We
I
just
got
need it to come through this number so that when we come over here to reports,
Drip them. Yeah.
we can, under call reported, we can have a kind of see, like your number's been called twice. Nobody answered it either time.
My phone number?
That phone number has been called twice.
Where the hell did they even find it?
Since
That's-
December 21st to January 20th, you had 2 phone calls come in from it and nobody answered.
Oh, that's probably because we're maybe calling it ourselves. That's-
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just picking on you. Right, but this is why that becomes important when we go look at, I'm just using Liz and Marie because I know she's been on this for a little longer than most of you guys.
How can we get an actual Charleston phone number instead of that 301 that's a nothing number? That's a spam number.
So you can see since in the last month, they've had 51 phone calls. Of those 51 phone calls, 15 of them are first-time callers.
Yeah.
She's answered 40 of the 51. She's missed 11 of them. This is really powerful because I'll give you guys an example. We were talking to one of our Dominator clients. We're doing some PPC work. He's like, PPC ads haven't been doing much since we first launched them. Keep in mind, it's only been like 10 days. We started looking at some call tracking, and actually he's received 50 phone calls in 10 days. from his, and 20 of them have just been from his ads. The rest came from his site, from organic stuff. But he didn't know that he was getting these phone calls from his PPC. But because we have some tracking capabilities on it, we're able to pinpoint it down. That it's actually getting, that phone number is getting pinged. So if you're using this phone number everywhere, and this is the only reason, Jordan, that I would say, no, having multiple phone numbers makes sense, right? Take John's example. If he's got postcards going out and he's doing texting and he's doing this, or maybe he's got a couple different campaigns, one going at probate, one going at bankruptcy, another one going over here to foreclosure type audience. If you use a different phone number on each one, now we're able to completely independently measure, hey, how well is my bankruptcy campaign doing versus my foreclosure campaign? If everything's drawing to one phone number, it's like, well, I'm getting calls, but I don't know which campaign it really is, right? Without doing some manual kind of process. So
I gotcha. Okay, well, that makes sense.
but let me go back. You wanted
You can't select like 304 is fine, but
yeah, you can. Phone number. So you're saying this, you have a 304 number.
I know, but that 301, that's like a, that's
So you would go here, 304 is your area code. Like the whole freaking state.
It is, and 681, that's it.
And you would have to kind of scroll through and look at what's available out there
Okay.
and try to find something that fits.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll play with it.
Can I ask a quick question, Sean, relative to that?
Yep.
So we have a marketing number as well through phone.com. It's our 766 home number, and it forwards to Kathleen's phone. Do we just still repeat these same steps? Does it mess anything up?
I'd be curious to try this.
Okay.
Forward it to the Twilio number that you're going to select when you go in. Like, I'll jump over to your account real quick.
There's nothing going on in there. I mean, I just got it. It's right there. K&K Property Ventures right above Liz and Maria.
Well, you've at least updated that because earlier today that wasn't there.
Okay. I'm going slower than I anticipated.
So what's your area code?
352.
So again, you're going to want to come through and grab one of these numbers. I won't select, I'll let you do that. You're going to want to pick one that you like, that fits kind of your area or what you kind of feel. I like looking for easy numbers, 605, 6699, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then same thing that I just had Terry do. I won't do it in your account. I'll go back over to theirs. Once it's in there, you're going to open it up and you're going to forward that number to something. So what I would be interested to have you do, you have this other number out there. What was it again?
352-766 home 4663. It's an
So that's more of a vanity style number, right? Because you could literally spell out home in his marketing. I would go into the settings of wherever that number's at, forward it to the mobile number that you grab from in here, and then have this number forward to Kathleen's phone. I have no idea if it'll work, but I'd be curious to have you test it. So it's like forwarding to a number that's forwarding. And I wonder if it still picks up the data that it's been a call number.
Yeah. So total root question here. So the Twilio number, that's just a number that's there to make the call happen from the website. It's just built into the website, so to speak.
It's what's built into Lead Vault so that you can call out of Lead Vault so that it can fire off the text, so that it can receive the text back, because it's going to text and it's going to text back and forth from that phone number.
Okay. Okay.
That number that you text me earlier on, that's
Yes.
TRC's Twilio number.
Okay. So that number. Okay. So it's like a business number.
Correct. But since you have this vanity number out there, I would actually be curious to see if we can make that work so that you can keep a vanity number that's.
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of made the choice to keep that as our business line for now. But yeah, I'll mess around with that. We'll do that. See what works.
The other thing you could do is just still have that number forward over to Kathleen's phone as the kind of the normal business line, but for marketing campaign purposes only, you're going to come in here and pick up a marketing number.
Sweet.
And that would be the number that would actually go on, your marketing pieces that are going out and have that forward to Kathleen's phone as well.
Cool, man. All
Because
right.
she'd be able to decipher the difference. Because in this
Right.
one, I don't know what the other platform in their forwarding
It's-
settings.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's phone.com. I don't even know. They must have bought that URL like a million years ago.
I just don't know if it has the ability of doing like this whisper message. Like in Jordan's case, when this forwards to Jacob's phone and he goes to answer it, it's going to say marketing number in his ear. Nobody else hears it but him.
I don't think she has the ability to do that. It visually, there's something that separates it, but I'm not totally sure. Awesome, man.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions? We're right at the top of the hour, so. Yeah, it's kind of perfect timing. You got a couple weeks between now and not next Thursday, but the following Thursday. For those of you that are at that point and at that phase, start building out a campaign in there. And even if you get through it and run yourself through a test and see how it goes. And make sure it kind of works, and we'll go from there. Sound good? Sweet, sweet. And then let me cancel this in the recording.